Hey everyone, this will be another gigantic Ehang video. There is a lot of frustration among us investors. Many want to dump the share and I don't blame anyone. The current situation is hard on us investors. So in this video, I will put everything on the table that I could find. So you can make your own picture and own decision if you should keep holding the stock or sell the stock. I want you to have the utmost educated decision you can have for the stock. It should not be a decision based on how much you already lost, how the stocks gives you sleepless nights. With this video, I want to show you what you can expect from Ehang in the near future. I want you to have the right expectation for this company. Otherwise, it will always result in new disappointments. This video will be gigantic because I'm going all out for you guys. So please watch this video in several parts if you have to. And this video will also contain psychology and fundamental parts at the end, teaching you how to make 50 to 110x with your investment. So please watch the whole video and feel to revisit this video if needed or when you feel weak with your investment. But first of all, welcome to High School Dropout's advice. If you need subtitles, click on the subtitle button right here. If you want to join my Discord channel, you can do this through Patreon, which I link down below in the description. You see that we lost another 5% today on May the 5th. We had earned 5% when they released the Twitter comment that their VT30 got successful in taking off and landing. This comes exactly one day after the stock price crash because of the delayed audited report. If you did not watch that video, I suggest you to watch that video first. I will link it up here and in the description below. You can see that all their comments regarding their VT30 post go in the direction that they should explain why it had to experience the delay in the first place, why there are no pictures or videos of the VT30 having the successful taking off and landing, and more frustration. Let me try to be objective here. From my limited experience in managing businesses and from my observation, I can simply say that the staff of the investor relationship team of Ehang and the public relationship of Ehang team is very inexperienced, especially for us English-speaking investors. The news we have to get is always from other sources and most of the cases not directly from Ehang. I will prove this point a little later with more sources. Let me show you a small clip from 2018 where the CEO describes the situation Ehang is in, and I want you to read the subtitles very carefully.
中国的公司呢，它没有多少家，它是能在一直连年亏损很多年的这种公司，还能保证存活的，还能保证去做高科技研究。这个应该怎么说？就是这个环境不太一样。你像埃隆·马斯克的那个 SpaceX 那个公司，包括 Tesla， 他们都是追求梦想的公司，但他们有很多人的这种支持，然后而且可以坦然的面对失败。这是我非常羡慕的一件事。我开始创业到今天起，我们所有的节奏把握的还是不错的，所以到今天我们一行不但是在那个逆境中没有出现任何问题，而且是在这个整个逆境的过程中慢慢发展壮大，而且我们的团队也越来越成熟，我们的技术也越来越高，这是我非常开心的。
So you can understand the mindset of its CEO and how he handles situations. From this small clip, you see that the funding and capital are not accessible like companies like Tesla. He also said he needs to budget the money very tightly, not to waste investors' money in another clip. He also said that his team is learning from every challenge and failure. So, what is the connection between challenge, failures, and the budget problem? From a business owner's perspective, this sounds very much like a staff issue. It sounds like with the limited money, I cannot hire the best people to fail less. So we have challenges. But we need to grow bigger from failures because the budget we have is just what we have. Let me try to show you more sources why I think in this way. You see that they have 87 job positions open. Li Ping is like Indeed.com, a hiring website. You also see that they have put up the job openings mostly in the last week. So you see they are on a hiring spree for 87 positions. But let me go to the first page and show you the first 2 job openings first, which are public relationship managers and public relation specialists. Let me go into the manager's job requirement first. You see 5 years of work experience, strong English speaking, listening, reading, and writing skills for English press releases. The good thing is the company is aware of the weakness and is looking for a way so we as investors get more communication and information between the company and us. But let me tell you what you can expect. You see that the public relationships manager gets around 15 to 25k RMB per month. Let me show you this. The yearly average salary in Guangzhou is 295k. In other words, 295,000 per year. So the 15 to 25,000 salary is pretty much an average salary for a Guangzhou professional. So it's not easy to attract a rockstar communicator with this salary budget. We have to remember, we are investing in a company which does not have a lot of cash and needs to manage their money wisely. But we can see that there are 87 positions open and more money is spent on research and development. Let me explain this as a business owner. Do I want my stock prices to look good and have some marketer, communicator, and sweet talker to pump up the price? Or do I invest in the product and let the product do the talk in a couple of years? This is a question every public company needs to think about. If you compare the salary again, you can see that the public relationship manager gets a quite good salary when you compare it with other salaries. So I think Ehang is aware they need someone better in this current position. But one more thing I need to add here is that we need to know that a public relationship manager is different from an investor relationship manager. Let me show you this job position opening. You see the salary is from 8 to 12,000 a month, 1 year job experience preferred in a public company, proficient in English. So with this kind of salary and budget and this experience level, what should we investor expect in the future? Our financial and investor related questions will be most likely answered by someone who is around 25 years old with little work experience and little experience in how his or her answer affect the stock prices. The person might not be so witty in answering critical questions. Does it make the fundamentals of the company worse? No, not necessarily. I just want you to be prepared for what to expect in the future and keep this in mind with what people we are dealing with. Looking back at our current situation, You can imagine that an inexperienced 25 years old staff member wanted to help the company and shared some news about the VT30 without realizing that the damage it does and the question and frustration it raises with the investors. We know from our CFO that he is not the most experienced one and that his frequent changes in workplaces and that this is the fact that this is the first full year might have created some challenges for him, and maybe he just made mistakes which were avoidable if Ehang would have a more qualified CFO. But Ehang does not have unlimited resources to hire all rockstar employees. Remember the clip I showed you and also think about how Ehang is raising money. Let me show you this so you understand the mindset of the company more. Ehang had two funding before it went on the stock exchange. After the IPO, Ehang did not raise any dollar yet. Where did the latest investment come from? It was from the Hezhou government and other Chinese cities. You see, the amount they raised, which is only 92 million in the last 8 years. The Chinese government has funded them over 300 million US dollar last year and for the ongoing projects. So we need to understand that Ehang is raising their money in a different way. They are not trying to look good and raise money like many US companies does. They raise their money in China. So the priority of letting US investors know about the current situation is not very high because the company does not care about the stock price as much because the funding is not coming from the stock price and their image in the United States. We might have a slight change in the mindset now, seeing that they are hiring English-speaking staff. But this is something we as an investor need to understand. The CEO has similarities to Elon Musk, but he is not a public figure like Elon Musk. He is communicating just on very rare occasions and only speaks in Chinese. Footages of him are years old and there are only a couple of them. Elon Musk has raised a couple of successful companies, so he's way more experienced. He knows how to raise money and how to market a product. Ehang does not know how to do this part, but we don't need to worry as much because we still have time. I will later compare Ehang with Tesla to understand the timeline we are in and what you can expect. I told you this would be a very long video, but I hope you will have a realistic outlook on this company after this video. Now that I tried to explain to you what you can expect from Ehang's communication with us, let us show you some social media clips which are not from Ehang, so you know that Ehang is not as fake as many short sellers wish. Before I show you the clip, you must understand that the Chinese are not using YouTube, Twitter, Facebook and co. So it makes sense that footages are very seldom to find. Let me show you a couple of clips. In this clip, you see that drones are testing around Guangzhou. This looks like the firefighter drone to me. Anyway, let me show you more. We have an EH216 in Guangzhou city exposed outside and you can see people are playing with the propeller. So you know it can move, and most likely it's also functionable. Let me show you another clip.
Pero eso es el futuro.
¿Es un costo accesible para toda la gente, para la población en general, o esto va a ser un lujo?
Muy bien pregunta, porque eso piensa la gente, eso cuesta tanto, ¿quién puede pagar eso? Pero todo es diseñado para las masas, para cualquier persona. Es como un Uber. Aunque no puedes comprar un Mercedes, tú puedes pedir un Mercedes en Uber y te puedes pagarlo. A lo mejor tienes la boda o algo, dices ahorita...
¿Quieres impresionar a la
¿Quieres
chica?
impresionar? Dices, ahorita voy a invertir 200 pesos de vez de 100 pesos y ya tienes un Mercedes. Y aquí es lo mismo, tú puedes elegir, ¿quieres ahorita perder mucho tiempo en el tráfico o subes a este vehículo? Y la idea es tener costos menos de un taxi. Entonces no hay chofer, no hay gasolina y casi no hay costos de mantenimiento. Y eso bajan los costos muchísimo, aunque el dron ahorita cuesta más que un coche, el mantenimiento y todos los sistemas que hablamos bajan el costo a un nivel mucho más accesible y puede ser más barato en el medio plazo, largo plazo que...
This is the CEO of Los Amigos, the Airbnb and real estate developer from Mexico, who has bought the Ehang drone for his Airbnb investors so that tourists can have sightseeing tours in Tulum. I made a video about that development in the video I link up here and in the description below. Let me show you a couple of pictures of their recent development of the e-port. You see that the port is being constructed and they have the drone delivered. Let me show you more of the light shows we have in Guangzhou, where Ehang is located. You see the light shows are real and they are there. There are also developed sightseeing tours, and investors had called the companies to see if they can book Ehang's flight. The company said it would be available in mid to late June, so developments are going on for Ehang. Let me show you a picture of the Ehang office. We can see cars parking outside, so there should be people in the office. Please understand that not everyone has a car in China, because the license to get one costs a fortune. The parking spot costs nearly an apartment. The city is in Guangzhou, where people prefer public transportation because it's faster and cheaper. So it's a good sign to see this amount of car in front of their office. This is a post with Fly to Joy, which is a website where you can book flights, personal trips, sightseeing or travel tours. This source says the price of the EH216 can drop to 78,000 in the near future. We know that the profit margin of Ehang is 60% and they sell it for 200,000. So selling EH216 for 78,000 means around break even, but with scaling up of manufacturing, the profit margin will increase. So I think this price will be possible. I will compare this a little later with the Model 3 of Tesla, but let us talk about some other developments before we compare the timeline of Ehang. Let me show you this. This compares the market cap of the passenger drone companies. We see that Ehang is only a company generating revenue since 2018 and is the only company that has produced some sold units and are in use in public. Now look at Ehang's market cap, 1.4 billion. Today we have a market cap of only 1.25 billion. We are only trading at around $23, which means we are around 2 to 3 times smaller than Lilium and Archer. And we are 5 times smaller than Joby Aviation, despite being the only company with a finished product on the market. We also have to say that investors of Joby still have their hope and dreams unshattered. The same applies to Lilium. Archer, on the other hand, has the accusation of stealing this design, as you can see here, which translated into the stock prices of the SPAC. Ehang has to experience the Wolfpack accusation, bad communication skills, delay in the audited report, which has to put them in the situation they are in now. Before that, Ehang did trade for around 6 billion market cap as Joby Aviation. And you remember the AAM Realty Index, which is the index of how many fundamentals a company has, and Ehang is rated at the same level as Joby. In my opinion, Ehang is ahead, but who cares about my opinion? So you might see that the fundamentals are telling another story, but I can understand that the disappointment is bigger in Ehang than in any other company right now. But a disappointment only occurs when we had the wrong expectation of a company. If we realign our expectations and understand what stage a company is in, it might be easier to live with the current company situation. Another important fact we need to understand is that Ehang might never get evaluated as high as their American or European counterparts. We can see it at Alibaba, Baidu, Tencent, and other Chinese counterpart companies. They will never trade as their PE ratio of the US companies. This is because of the investing culture of two different countries. Chinese people are investing in real estate and Americans are investing in the stock market. More than 50% of Americans are holding stocks. In China, it's only 5%. You can think for yourself if an American investor prefers the US or the Chinese counterpart. If you want to support me and buy stocks and need a brokerage account, or you want a second brokerage account, I can recommend you Webull. You would get 4 free stocks up to $1,850 per stock when you deposit at least $100. I think the lowest amount I got from the free stock was $3 per stock, so that would get you at least $12. The advantage Webull has is that you can trade before and in the aftermarkets, which helps you to be one step ahead of others. You can find the link down below in the description. So now let me compare Ehang with Tesla, so you better understand the timeline we are in. Another significant fact is we have to understand that Ehang will have it more difficult than Tesla, and Elon Musk is way more experienced in raising a successful company than CEO Hua Ji of Ehang. The next thing is you have to remember the clip. Cash always plays a big role for a company, but we see the Chinese government is supporting Ehang, NIO, and other green infrastructure projects, so this should be fine in the long run. This is the original Roadster of Tesla, which was made in 2008. You can compare this with the EH184, which is another prototype like the Roadster. In 2010, Tesla bought an old GM factory to build their Model S. We know that Ehang is soon moving to the Yunfu manufacturer, so we can agree that we are at least at 2010 of Tesla. The Model S launched in 2012. This is the first model which will be actually used in the real world. This is like EH216, but like the Model S, limited the customers with its price, range, real-world acceptance, charging stations. The EH216 has its limitation of customers in the range, certification, and price. So both first models are used for testing the market and raising additional cash to get going. You see that Tesla has to build charging stations in 2012. This is a situation EH216 has. They have to make ports. We have a design of ports. We have a partnership with airports. So we know that Ehang has to establish this infrastructure first. Before that, it cannot be used on a mass scale. Now let us talk about the Model X. The Model X was released and introduced to the public in 2012. I let you guess how long it took Tesla to get its first Model X delivered. It was 3 years. It took Tesla 3 years to get it produced. So what do you think can happen to the VT30? when the VT30 has a successful test flight this month, you cannot expect that Ehang will sell any of the VT30 in the near term. It will be most likely pretty much launched and delivered shortly before other competitors. Let me explain to you that this is enough for Ehang. Why should Ehang spend so much money to get the VT30 delivered 2 or 3 years before the competition, when it can secure partnerships and certification with its EH216? Once they have set the standard and requirements, they can work on the VT30 to pass those. It will be cheaper to do it this way. Otherwise, they have to restructure and redesign everything they applied on the VT30 when the requirements come back differently. All those partnerships Ehang is securing now with the EH216 and other unmanned drones are enough, creating loyalty of their business partners to try out their later version of the VT30. The government and business partners will be more likely to try the VT30 than another brand when Ehang did the job with their current products. So please, Ehang investors, don't expect we will have a big price jump which lasts. When the VT30 is successful, we will have a price jump, but we will also have a big retracement when those investors are disappointed that it takes years to develop the VT30 on a big scale. The Gigafactory was built in 2016. We know that Ehang got sponsored and a over $130 million plant is being built for Ehang, which will take around 2 years to complete and will increase the manufacturing space by 10. This is the Tesla Model 3. This is the cheap version, which you can compare with the $78,000 model of Ehang. Most likely it will not be called EH216 when it comes out. Model 3 was a cheap mass product, which in translation to Ehang is not even in development yet. The VT30 is at the moment compared with the Model X of Tesla. Now that I showed you the timeline of how companies scale up and expand with the example of Tesla, you can have a rough idea of where Ehang is at their current development. I would say that Ehang is at around 2011 or 2012. So do you want to see the prices of Tesla in 2012? Tesla was trading at $6. In 2012, many of us didn't even hear about Tesla. That you are here with me as an industry leader which can change the world is already a very lucky situation for us. This is how many Tesla investors would feel when they were in the stock since 2012. But look at the graph. You can agree that it took Tesla around 7 years to 10 to 15 times the money. But more importantly, look at what happened in 2020 until today. You would have 110x your money from 2012. The rewarding part is at the end of your stock investment life. I'm investing for being able to retire. I'm not investing to double my money and buy a Lambo next month. If you know you make only 10 to 15 times your money in the next 7 years, you can keep Ehang in your watch list and invest in the later part where it trades around $60. $60 is the amount I use from Tesla because 10 times the $6. So, but remember that you would need to put 10 times as much money to make that 100x of return. For example, you put 6,000 to buy $6 shares. You will have 1,000 Ehang shares. After 7 years, you buy Ehang at $60. where you would need 60,000 in Ehang Investors. This means you would need to 10x your money in the next 7 years and put it all back into Ehang to get those returns if you translate Tesla 1-to-1 to Ehang. The likelihood that anyone go all in one stock is less likely. If you think you cannot 10x your money in 7 years and you would have been not brave enough to go all in the stock to enjoy the juicy part, then you should just consider to hold your position and have a target to 60 to 110x your money in the next 7 to 10 years. Many traders and short-term investors do not think it takes time for a disruptive company to take off. Most investors expect the stock to go up in the next weeks and months. They want the stock to pop like Dogecoin. Investors who are selling their position now to double, triple or quadruple their money with other trend investment will most likely never make the 60x or 110x with their investment in 7 to 10 years. If you have 15 to 25 stocks like Ehang, where you have a sizable investment in it and 5 stocks are becoming the new Tesla and NIO, you will be a multimillionaire. So why don't we have more patience and build our position in other big potential stocks? Let me tell you the likelihood of Ehang making 60 to 110x the money within 7 to 10 years. Ehang is trading with a market cap of 1.25 billion. 60x would be a 75 billion market cap. You see that NIO is trading close to 62 billion now. So Ehang being the size of NIO in 7 to 10 years with inflation is more than realistic. You saw that Tesla is trading at a 646 billion market cap. Will Ehang has the chance to get there? If Ehang becomes really a smart autonomous drone infrastructure developer for cities and countries and the command center of the infrastructure like the CEO's vision, then yes. If this vision becomes true, 550x your current investment might come true. Those returns sounds outlandish for many people, but if you look at all big companies and you look back in history, if you have to hold Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Tesla or any other stock for 10, 20 or 30 years, you will see that those returns are possible. The problem we are not seeing so many investors realizing those returns is because not many people can hold a stock for 10 to 30 years. Those who are holding so long are called Warren Buffett. So, if you can manage to hold so long, you can become a Warren Buffett. As Warren Buffett said, when he said everyone can become a multimillionaire within 10 years, people stop listening because everyone wants to become a multimillionaire today. And if you focus not only on one company, but you are building positions in 3 to 5 stocks each year, don't you think you will have a portfolio after 10 to 20 years which will allow you to retire as a multimillionaire? There is really no need to settle for just doubling or tripling your money when you can 50x your investment safely in 7 to 10 years. It's more difficult to double the cash within 6 months than 10x your money within 5 years. I think, again, we can agree that Ehang having a market cap of NIO which translates into 50x your money is realistic within 7 to 10 years. It will be a very successful investment for me, and I think for most of you too. So please remember Tesla. There is not much going on the first years. expect to 10 to 15x in the next 7 years, but then to use that strong position to add another 35 to 95x on top in the last 2 to 3 years. The juicy part is at the end of an investment. I don't know how to make it more clear. Many trend hunters are happy when they have doubled their money with Tesla, and they feel like they are the greatest investors, not realizing some people made 110x their money. So prepare your position and be patient. This was a gigantic Ehang video. I hope you like it. If you want to join our Patreon channel and support me and the channel, you can use the link below. Anyways, for legal reasons, let me tell you that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Please remember to do your own due diligence and hire a financial advisor if necessary. Please click, share, and subscribe to my channel when you don't want to miss out on any stock information and investment opportunity. Thank you so much and see you hopefully in the next video. Thank you. Bye.